Welcome back, my fellow nightmares, to another descent into the abyss of fear. Tonight, we're riding the rails of terror, climbing aboard the chilling legend of the phantom trains. These aren't your typical commutes, no sir. These iron horses travel through the darkest corners of our world and beyond, their destinations shrouded in shadow and dread. We'll be exploring three tales of these spectral locomotives, each one a chilling reminder that some journeys are best left untaken. We'll meet unfortunate souls who stumbled upon these ghostly expresses, their tickets punched for a one-way trip into the heart of fear. So dim the lights, turn up the volume, and prepare to be transported. Just remember, if you hear the distant wail of a train whistle tonight, don't look for the source. You might not like the destination. Our first stop takes us to the lonely heart of Pennsylvania coal country, where the air is thick with the dust of forgotten mines and the whispers of a legend. They say that if you find yourself at the abandoned Blackwood station at the stroke of midnight, you might just witness the arrival of the Midnight Express. Now, this isn't your typical Amtrak, mind you. This train, cloaked in an unnatural darkness, only appears when the moon is hidden and the hour is at its most vulnerable. Locals say the Midnight Express is a conduit, a bridge between our world and the realm of nightmares. Those who board it, lured by a morbid curiosity or perhaps a subconscious desire to confront their deepest fears, are in for a horrifying ride. They say the train travels through a dreamscape, a twisted reflection of the passengers' own minds, where their darkest fears take on terrifyingly real forms. Imagine, if you will, the flickering gaslights of the train car illuminating the faces of your fellow passengers, their eyes wide with terror. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels against the tracks transforms into the pounding of your own heart, each beat a drum roll of dread. And then the nightmares begin. One by one, the passengers are confronted by their deepest fears, manifested in the most horrifying ways imaginable. The businessman, consumed by greed, finds himself drowning in a sea of gold coins, his pockets heavier than ever, yet his lungs starve for air. The young woman, haunted by the loss of a loved one, is forced to relive that tragic moment again and again. The pain of their absence a crushing weight on her chest. The train becomes a torture chamber of the mind, each passenger trapped in their own personal hellscape. The air grows thick with the stench of fear and despair. The only sounds, the screams of the tormented and the haunting whistle of the train as it barrels through the darkness. Some say the Midnight Express eventually returns to Blackwood Station, its passengers forever scarred by their journey into the abyss of their own minds. Others whisper that the train never truly stops, that it continues to hurtle through the shadows, its passengers condemned to an eternity of torment. But one thing is certain, the Midnight Express is a chilling reminder that our darkest fears often lie dormant within us, waiting for the right moment to surface and drag us down into the depths of despair. So the next time you find yourself at a deserted train station at the stroke of midnight, think twice before you board a train that offers no return ticket. You never know what nightmares await you on the other side. Our next tale takes us from the desolate plains of the American Midwest, where a spectral conductor haunts the tracks, his lantern casting an eerie glow on the desolate landscape. They say he's searching for something, a soul to collect, a fare to be paid for passage into the great beyond. He is known only as the ghostly conductor, a somber figure in a tattered uniform, his face obscured by the wide-brimmed hat of a bygone era. Some say he was once a living man, a dedicated railway worker who met an untimely end on the tracks. Others believe he's a manifestation of the land's sorrow, a grim reaper drawn to the mournful cries of train whistles. Whatever his origins, the ghostly conductor is a harbinger of things to come, a chilling reminder that our time on this earth is finite. They say he appears on trains that are doomed, his presence a ghostly premonition of disaster. Passengers have described feeling a cold chill as he passes by, his eyes two burning embers in the darkness, seeming to peer into their very souls. He moves up and down the aisles, his footsteps strangely silent, collecting tickets from unsuspecting passengers. But these aren't your typical train tickets. No, these are fragments of memories, snippets of regrets, the weight of a life lived, or in some cases, wasted. The conductor examines each one carefully, his skeletal fingers brushing against the ethereal paper as if searching for something. Those who have encountered the ghostly conductor say his touch is ice cold, draining the warmth from their very being. They describe feeling a strange sense of peace wash over them as he takes their ticket, a sense of acceptance of their fate. For some, this encounter is a fleeting moment, a brush with the supernatural that leaves them shaken but alive. But for others, those whose time is truly up, the ghostly conductor's arrival marks the end of the line. They say he leads them to the train doors, the landscape outside no longer familiar but a swirling vortex of light and shadow. And then, with a final glance back, they disappear, stepping off the train and into the great unknown. The ghostly conductor is a chilling reminder that death comes for us all, regardless of who we are or what we've done. He is a symbol of the inevitable, the conductor on our final journey into the abyss. So, the next time you board a train, take a moment to consider your fellow passengers. You never know who among them might be traveling with the ghostly conductor. Our final destination tonight takes us to the mountains of Japan, where a tunnel shrouded in mist and mystery awaits. They call it the Jisatsu Tunnel, the suicide tunnel, a place where despair lingers and hope goes to die. It's said that those who enter this tunnel, be it by car or by foot, may never find their way out, trapped in an endless loop of concrete and despair. The tunnel itself is ancient, carved through the heart of the mountain long ago. Locals say it's haunted by the spirits of those who died during its construction, their souls unable to find peace. Others whisper that the tunnel is a gateway, a portal to a place where time has no meaning and darkness reigns supreme. They say the air inside the Jisatsu tunnel is heavy, thick with the weight of sorrow and regret. The temperature drops, a bone-chilling cold that seeps into your bones and chills you to your core. And the silence, oh, the silence is deafening, broken only by the drip, drip, drip of water seeping through the cracks in the concrete. Each drop like the tick of a clock counting down the seconds to your sanity's end. Drivers who have dared to enter the tunnel tell of their radios cutting out, plunged into an eerie silence. Their headlights, usually piercing the darkness, seem to dim as if the tunnel itself is swallowing the light. And then there are the figures. Shadowy figures appear in the distance, their forms indistinct in the gloom. They line the edges of the tunnel, their eyes, if you can call them that, burning with a cold, malevolent light. They say these are the Eerie, the restless spirits trapped within the tunnel's walls, their sorrow and anger palpable in the air. Some drivers, gripped by fear, slam their foot on the accelerator, desperate to escape the oppressive atmosphere of the tunnel. But no matter how fast they drive, the tunnel seems to stretch on forever, the exit always just out of reach. They are trapped, their minds playing tricks on them, the tunnel becoming their tormentor. Others, drawn by a morbid curiosity or perhaps a subconscious desire to escape their own pain, slow down, their cars crawling through the darkness. They say that if you listen closely, you can hear whispers carried on the wind, voices from beyond the veil, beckoning you closer, promising solace in the darkness. But heed this warning, my fellow nightmares. The Jisatsu tunnel offers no solace, only despair. It is a place where hope withers and dies, where the darkness consumes you from the inside out. If you ever find yourself facing the gaping maw of the Jisatsu tunnel, turn back. Do not tempt fate. Some journeys are best left untaken. And there we are, my fellow passengers, at the end of our journey. We've explored the chilling tales of phantom trains, those iron horses that travel through the darkest corners of our world and beyond. We've faced our fears, confronted the unknown, and emerged from the darkness, forever changed by what we've experienced. But remember, the tracks of terror never truly end. They wind their way through our fears, our nightmares, our very souls. So the next time you hear a train whistle in the dead of night, listen closely. It might just be the Phantom Express, calling for you, inviting you on a one-way trip to a destination unknown. Until next time, sleep tight, and try not to think about the things that go bump in the night. Or better yet do, embrace the darkness. It's always listening,